Good evening, guys. How are you all? Hope you had a very nice and wonderful celebration of the national holiday of India, that is 15th August Independence Day, which is our, in fact, most patriotic festival, जिसमें हमारी इंडिपेंडेंस का सेलिब्रेशन मनाया जाता है एंड द इंडियन फ्लैग इज होस्टेड ट्राई कलर at Red Fort by the Prime Minister, and a speech is addressed by him to the whole country. So, okay, in today's video, as you know, on our channel Sukija Commerce Classes, this I brought a video for you of accounts receivable. Like you must have seen in MNCs, if you work in finance and accounts career, so there are main three types of profile: AR, AP, and R2R. So, and here we are talking about accounts receivable. So what is accounts receivable basically? See, whenever a customer buys goods on credit, so it means that he says that, oh, right now I don't have the money, but I'll surely pay you later. So this is what sale on credit. So what is accounts receivable? Accounts receivable is the money which the customer owe to the seller. So that is called as accounts receivable, and in short form AR. So and so before starting with journal entries, like there's a basic concept to understand about assets and liabilities, like the effect when an asset increases and when it decreases. So it's absolutely the reverse. See, like whenever an asset is increased, suppose like a cash is coming in your hand or bank balance is increasing, so how we will treat it? It is debited, like debit what comes in. So asset always, whenever it increases, it's debited, but when it decreases, it's credited. Suppose like we have a furniture of 50,000, but if we are selling it and receiving payment in cash, so what would be the entry? Cash account debit to furniture 50,000, because asset जो decrease हो रहा है तो credit हो जाएगा. But if we talk about liabilities जो the payments which we owe to our creditors, so if a liability increases, it's credited, but when it decreases, it is debited. So now starting with journal entries in accounts receivable, whenever a tax is not levied, so what will be the entry? AR account debit to sales, because you have to take the money from that customer, so it's an asset for you. And sales is credited because income is credited as per the nominal account rule, credit all incomes and gain. So what would be the entry when tax is not levied? AR account debit to sales account, and depending on whatever amount, मतलब जितने भी amount की sale हुई है. And if we discuss about the opposite case, when tax is levied, so then what will be the entry? AR account debit to sales to GST, because here one more concept comes into existence, like GST. What is GST? GST, as you all must be knowing, it was introduced in 2019 by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi led BJP government. So here why GST is being credited? By the difference of AR account money and sales account money, because it's a liability and it has to be paid to the government. So, and as we discussed earlier, just before this 5 minutes back, whenever a liability is increased, it will be credited. So it's a liability for the company that they have to pay GST to the government, that's why it's being credited. AR account debit to sales to GST. And when you will make the payment, when the company will make the payment to bank, then what would be the entry? This GST account balance जो अभी क्रेडिट में है, मतलब क्रेडिट में बुक्स में आउटस्टैंडिंग है, तो वो डेबिट हो जाएगा, बिकॉज हेयर द लाइबिलिटीज is getting decreased, and when a liability is getting decreased, so how you will treat it? Debited. So that's why GST account will be debited to bank account while making payment to the government. Okay, now third entry we have, if customer pays earlier than the deadline allowed. Suppose एक कस्टमर को 2 months अलाउ, कस्टमर ने 2 months मांगे थे, बट एकदम से वो 1 month बाद कहता है कि नाउ आई एम रेडी टू मेक द पेमेंट, so we can allow him some discount. Now while allowing discount, what will be the entry? Cash account debit, because debit what comes in, and discount account debit, because it's an expense for us, and as per nominal account rule, debit all expenses and losses. So discount account is getting debited to AR account, बिकॉज जो कस्टमर से हमने लेना था वो सारा ख़त्म हो गया बैलेंस. और एसेट जब भी डिक्रीज़ होता है, सो क्या होता है? क्रेडिट होता है. सो दैट्स वाई द एंट्री इज एसेट अकाउंट डेबिट, डिस्काउंट अकाउंट डेबिट टू AR अकाउंट. But now if we discuss the reverse case, if customer fails to make the payment, मतलब वो जब पेमेंट करने का टाइम आया तो कस्टमर ने बोला कि अभी मेरे पास फंड्स नहीं है और पेमेंट नहीं कर पाऊँगा. सो हाउ व्हाट विल बी द एंट्री? बैड डेट्स अकाउंट डेबिट टू AR अकाउंट, because now we treat it as a loss that the customer is has failed to make the payment. And what is the accounting treatment for losses? Debit all expenses and losses as per the nominal account rule. So the entry will be bad debts account debit to AR account. And now entry for doubtful debts. Suppose he has not refused, but we are doubtful that the customer will not make the payment. So in this case what will be the entry? Provision for doubtful accounts debit टू AR अकाउंट, बिकॉज यहाँ पे जो हमारा लॉस है हम प्रोविजन को लॉस ट्रीट करेंगे एंड डेबिट और लॉसेज एंड एक्सपेंसेस एज पर नॉमिनल अकाउंट. सो द एंट्री विल बी provision for doubtful accounts debit to AR account. And now in the next video we'll discuss about some more entries and also the SAP T codes. Like अगर आपको you must be aware like there's a SAP ERP software which is now most commonly used in MNCs. So and there are different T codes for all transaction, like for invoice generation is different, for invoice processing different, for checking periods different, for checking invoice status is different. So in the next video let's discuss about SAP T codes. And if you like the video you can share and subscribe with your network, like with your friends and family.